Sekunde geht's los. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna. Okay. No? Okay. Okay, wir fangen jetzt aber auf jeden Fall an. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Okay, we are reading in the Bhagavad Gita as it is, translated and explained by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. And we are today reading, yes, das deutsche Buch. And we are today reading in chapter 1, observing the armies on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. We are reading text 4. You also have your own book? Nice. That's nice. We can chant the verse actually. Wir können noch den Vers chanten, wenn ihr alle ein Buch habt. Okay? Text 4. Atra Shura Maheshvasa 1,4. 1,4. Atra Sura? Ja. Okay? Atra Shura Maheshvasa. Nochmal. Atra Shura Maheshvasa. We don't have to hurry. You can take... Anyway, you just try. Yes, very good. Bhimarjuno Samayudhi. Bhimarjuna Samayudhi. Yuyudhano Viratascha. Yuyudhano Viratascha. Drupadascha Maharataha. Drupadascha Maharataha. Atra Sura Maheshvasa. Bhimarjuna Samayudhi. Yuyudhano Viratascha. Drupadascha Maharataha. Mag jemand wieder? Someone wants to repeat? Atra Sura Maheshvasa. Bhimarjuna Samayudhi. Yuyudhano Viratascha. Drupadascha Maharataha. Magst du probieren? Atra Sura Maheshvasa. Bhimarjuna Samayudhi. Yuyudhano Viratascha. Drupadascha Maharataha. Okay. There's one nice thing about... Willst du übersetzen? Okay. There's one nice thing about pronouncing Sanskrit, because we are pronouncing those verses traditionally in every class before we speak, before we even translate. And one may think it a little monotonous. You say like that? Monotonous? Monotonous, yes. And but if you take some time to, or if you just take part regularly in reciting Sanskrit, you may have that experience that it creates a kind of taste on the tongue. Sanskrit is a very pleasing language, tasty language actually. And I cannot explain this phenomena, but for me it's an increasing experience that reciting Sanskrit is a very pleasing. It's very pleasing. It's very nice to do it. It's a very pleasing activity. Yeah, pleasant activity. Yes. So somehow it feels nice for the mouth even. No? These words are very nice. So yes. So and Sanskrit is a very mystical language. It says that there are higher living entities in this world. We are calling them in English demigods, in Sanskrit devas or suras. And they also speak that language. They speak Sanskrit, full blow. So we say that English is world language, but Sanskrit is universe language. Universumssprache sogar. So it's very interesting. So there's a lot to the language itself. Okay, so we translate the words. Atra, here. Shuraha, heroes. Maha Isu Asaha, mighty bowmen. Bhimarjuna, to Bhima and Arjuna. Samaha, equal. Yudhi, in the fight. Yuyudhanaha, Yuyudhana. Virataha, Virata. Cha, also. Drupadaha, Drupada. Cha, also. Maharataha, great fighter. So, here comes the translation. Yes, we try to give a little context, or do you know already? A little bit about the Bhagavad Gita, what it is, what is the background of the thing?
Has a story between Lord Krishna and Arjuna.
Yes.
He's acting as a charioteer.
Yes.
It's a battle between family, basically.
Yes.
And this is the very beginning. So
We're in the very beginning. That's correct. And actually, we're so much in the beginning that the talk between Krishna and Arjuna has actually not started yet. So, and the first scene is that Dhritarashtra, who is the uncle of Arjuna and the son of the father of the men who are on the opposite side. So in one sense, he's on the side of the opponents of Arjuna and Krishna. Dhritarashtra, he's the father, and he is a blind man. So he cannot see anything. So he cannot take part in the battle also. So he's somewhere else. But he wants to know what is going on. And he has a, we say secretary. His name was Sanjaya. And Sanjaya had a mystic ability that he could see. He could visualize things which are going on in different places. Like nowadays we have a TV. Or a camera on a phone. Someone else is taking a video and he's sending us the video. But Sanjaya, he was advanced in mystic ability. So he was able to, just by his desire, he could see what was going on in a different place. So he was observing the battlefield from a different place, actually. And then he was showing. He was telling Dhritarashtra what was going on there. So, and then the first thing which he explains is that Dhritarashtra's son, Duryodhana, what he is doing, what he is saying. And here, in this verse, Duryodhana is speaking. So he's on the other side than Arjuna. Yeah, you could say like that. They're in one sense they're all playing a drama. The pastimes of Krishna, they're like a little like a drama. But yeah, in the story we could say they're the villains. We call them like that, no? Yes. So, and Duryodhana, our great villain of the Mahabharata, he is saying, and he's looking at the army of Arjuna, and he's saying, here in this army are many heroic bowmen, equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna. Great fighters like Yuyudhana, Virata, and Drupada. So Duryodhana is looking at all the powerful people whom he has to deal with as his opponents in combat. So that is what is said here. And Srila Prabhupada gives a short purport. Even though Drishtadhyumna, he was mentioned in the previous verse, was not a very important obstacle in the face of Dronacharya's very great power in the military art, there were many others who were causes of fear. They are mentioned by Duryodhana as great stumbling blocks on the path of victory, because each and every one of them was as formidable as Bhima and Arjuna. He knew the strength of Bhima and Arjuna, and thus he compared the others with them. So I'll speak a few prayers and then I'll try to speak. Oma Gyana Timirandasya Gyananjala Shalakaya Takshur Unmilitang Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamine Te Namine Namaste Sarasvate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesa Sunyavadi Pastatya Desatarine Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shrivas Adi Gaurabhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So we repeat the verse once. Atrashura Maheshvasa Bhimarjuna Samayudi Yuyudhano Viratascha Drupadascha Maharataha. Here in this army are many heroic bowmen, equal in fighting to Bhima and Arjuna. Great fighters like Yuyudhana, Virata, and Drupada. Hare Krishna. So, we are in the introductory part of the Bhagavad Gita. And basically whatever is described here is setting the scene. Die Szene. Yeah, and that is, as we all are conversant with, it's a battlefield. And on that battlefield, on one side, there are the Kauravas, headed by Duryodhana, who is speaking here, and on the other side are the Pandavas, who are actually a part of the same bigger family, but somehow they ones are the sons of Dhritarashtra, who is the first person inquiring into what is happening on the battlefield, and on the other side of the Pandavas, they are the sons of Pandu. So they have a different father, but they're in the same family line, and there's a battle to take place amongst Kshatriyas. There, in those past days, Kshatriyas were especially trained to be engaged in politics, in peace, and in fighting in times of war, in times of conflict. And Kshatriyas essentially are meant to protect the general people. They are administrators, politicians, and caretakers of the general people. And they have specific qualities. Some people, they have that natural courage. They like a challenge. They are expert in how to say. They're very skillful people also, materially seeing. They can very easily find out how to do some things, how to get something done. They're very effective people, and courageous people, and heroic people. So, and such people have assembled on this battlefield. And if we, if we only look at that, then for us that is not so very interesting, because we are not here to become expert in. We are not here to become trained as kshatriyas. We are here to become trained as devotees. And I was thinking a little bit about what to speak, and I was thinking to speak about kshatriyas, but I'm deciding to not speak about kshatriyas. I'll try to bring in the more direct Krishna conscious philosophy. And the more general principle which we can draw from this is that in life there are many challenges. Like here, Duryodhana is describing that there's a challenge. I see all those powerful personalities whom I have to fight with. So sometimes also we have to deal with people who are challenging us and who are putting, here it says, stumbling blocks on the path of victory. Stumbling blocks on the path of victory. So all of us, we want to achieve some form of victory in life. We want to get a nice meal. We want to get a nice job. We want to get a nice family. We want to get, I don't know, a nice car, a nice computer. We want to get fame. We want to get $1 million or euros or something. So all of us, we have something in life which we consider that if I can achieve this thing, that is victory. And so everyone is looking for this one thing which he considers worthy in life. And there's one crux, what he thinks he will get from it. What is that? Protection. Die Krux, es gibt ein Prinzip, was jeder denkt, was er da kriegt, von dem, was er für erstrebenswert hält. Maybe. Yeah, he's not so learned. He's better that way. Yeah, yeah. I also. It's interesting, but it's no problem. No problem. Sometimes it's like that. Don't mind. Yeah. So yeah, what is that thing? We consider something that is the supreme worthy thing. Why do we have faith that this is the right thing? Why do I have faith in anything? That this is worth achieving. You say protection. What else? What do you think? Trust. Love. And with love you get also something else. Joy? Yes. Happiness. Yes. In the Vedas it is said, Anando Maya Vyasat. We want happiness. Ananda. We want real, unalloyed, pure happiness. We want to be happy, isn't it? Everyone wants to be happy. So that is real victory, happiness. And and the battle is also taking place for that sake. That that someone is hoping that the outcome of this battle will help us to be happy. So we want to be happy. And that is the actual line of distinction between different kinds of people. Because on that battlefield also,
That's not Sanskrit.
on that battlefield also, some people they think, and that is also the crux actually, why Arjuna, he will in a few verses later, it will come out that he has a doubt about fighting. He doesn't want to fight. And because he thinks that nobody will be happy with this fighting. I will not be happy, nobody will be happy with this fighting. Nowadays also, people generally think that fighting, no, we don't do this. We want to be peaceful, no? But there are also many people who like to fight, actually. So, but whether they want peace or they want battle, they want to be happy. They want some feeling of happiness, experience and expression of happiness. Everyone wants happiness. Everyone is running after happiness. But there is one very, very very substantial truth, but it's very subtle. Which is that there is a difference between real happiness and what we think to be happiness. In Sanskrit, it's two words. One is ananda. Ananda means spiritual happiness. And there's no counterpart to ananda. Ananda is an eternal principle, and there's no. Yeah, it's a principle in itself. There is no counterpart. Es gibt kein Gegenstück. But in the material sphere, we speak about sukha. Sukha. But sukha has a counterpart, which is called dukkha. Dukkha. And dukkha means what? You know? Dukkha means? Dukkha means distress, suffering. Distress, Leid. Dukkha heißt Leid. Leid. Schmerz, Leid. So, and Bhagavad Gita goes so far, later in the last chapter actually, Krishna is giving one instruction on happiness, different kinds of sukha. And he says, in all of them, he's making a division of three. In all of them, you get distress as well. Which means that material happiness and material distress, they always go together. They stay together. You cannot have one without the other. It is not possible. One is that, the lowest form is, we say, happiness in ignorance, in Tama Guna. And it says that it is an illusion from beginning to end. Actually, there is no happiness from it. But there is an illusion of happiness. And we can think of the person who is working very hard all day long on some construction site, and whenever he gets 5 minutes off, he will smoke a cigarette. And he will think, the cigarette makes me happy. People have that hope. They have a desperate hope. The cigarette will give me the happiness. But it tastes horrible. And the effects are also horrible. And then the same person, let's say, he comes home in the evening, he will drink a beer. Which also tastes horrible. And the effects are also horrible. So, and he will then sleep and think that, finally, some relief. And that going to sleep, that's all he has. That's ignorant. That's the lowest form of so-called happiness. And actually it's misery from beginning to end. There's no happiness in it. But there's an illusory sense that this is what makes me happy. Then one up is happiness in the mode of passion. Rajas. And in Rajas, there is and happiness in that, on that level, it comes from, or sukha, from that, enjoyment. Let's say not happiness, but enjoyment. On that level, it comes from sense perception. Sensual perception. You taste the ice cream. It tastes good. You like it at first moment. And man-woman relationships exist on that level. Sexual relationships exist on that level. That in the beginning it feels very nice. But any sensual experience which you get in this world, the nature of it is that it is temporary. And if you enjoy on all levels your sensual experience, whether eating, sex life, or what else you have, you watch a movie, or whatever that is. You see something with your eyes, you hear something with your ears, which is pleasing. The moment that you think that this is pleasing, this is giving me my fulfillment. The moment that you think like this, you're destined to suffer. Because one day, you cannot have it anymore. One day, you cannot have it. One day, you cannot have it. On that day, you will suffer. And one very, very big problem with that is also that, especially when we're young, general people nowadays, they will say that, what's the problem with sex life? It's nice, it's pleasing, nobody is hurt, isn't it? You don't hurt anyone. it's shanti, it's peaceful, there's no war. Which is also not true. Because the effect of cultivating lust is that also your anger increases. They go together. And the main point is that when you become, especially when your body is young, then when your body gets old, you cannot have the same pleasure anymore. And you suffer. And the very, very big problem is that when you enjoy your body, you increase the concept, you increase that deep-rooted understanding that I am this body. And as long as you enjoy, you may say that it's not a problem, I like to be the body. I like to be the body, I like to enjoy this body. The problem is when you get old. Because in old age, you get one thing for sure, which is bodily pain. My uncle used to say that when you are 50 years old and you wake up in the morning and you don't have any pain, it means you are dead. That's very graphic and simple. So, and if you become old and you think you are the body, you will suffer endlessly. You will suffer so badly. So you have cultivated your enjoyment in youth, and you have cultivated your identification with this bag of flesh. It means that in old age you have to suffer. And you identify with that suffering. There's no relief, there's no higher understanding, you don't have any capacity to tolerate what you have to go through. You have no chance to face the difficulties of old age. And you will suffer miserably. And most people nowadays, they are going through hell in old age. They are going through hell because they don't understand. They have no idea. They have no consciousness that I am not this body. They suffer severely. So what to do? One level higher. In this, what I described now, first you enjoy, then you suffer. One higher is, guess what? First you suffer, then you enjoy. It sounds a little masochistic, but it works. Simple example, you take a cold shower. If you start taking a cold shower, in the beginning, is it pleasing? Cold shower? Cold water on the skin, it's not pleasing. But if you continue taking your cold shower with determination, and if your body can handle it, you should maybe not do that when you're sick, but if your body is healthy, it will not be pleasing to start with cold water, taking the shower. But by the time you're done with your cold bath, after that, you feel refreshed, you feel well, you feel strong, you feel energized. Huh? So it's the other way around. Getting up early in the morning. For most people, very difficult. For me, sometimes also. When I go to bed late, very difficult for me to get up early. Huh? But if you can manage to go to bed early and you can manage to rise early, it's dark. It's dark. You don't hear any birds. The sun is not there. Where's the motive to get up? Where's the strength to rise from bed? Difficult. It may be difficult, but if you can do it, you will. If you can sit up, if you can take your cold shower, and if you can start anything, actually, even I think that was one American president. He said, "Early to bed, early to rise." Yes, I know healthy, but strong is also nice. Yes, because whatever you do in the early morning, you can do it very nicely. There's no agitation, there's no disturbance, there's no distraction. Whatever you do, if you sit down to chant Hare Krishna, you will have the chanting of your life. If you have to learn for school even, something like that, you can learn so many things so easily. The ether is still. There's no agitation. Whatever you perceive, it will enter your mind immediately. In a second. You can look at something that you read, you can memorize it for the rest of your life. If you get up early in the morning. Huh? In the beginning it's difficult, but the result is nectarian. It's beautiful. There's happiness in that. The principle of dutifulness is also like that. Going to school. No, I don't want to learn. I don't want to concentrate. I don't want to work. But ultimately you will get some happiness from it. If you go to school, you get some education, then you also can have a good job. You live by your previous sacrifice. So you make a sacrifice for the sake of your enjoyment. Then you get the money for your work, then you can buy nice things, you can enjoy. So that is the best. But that is also material. But it says that the principle of austerity, that is austerity. Austerity means you voluntarily accept some hardship, some struggle to get something nice. That principle can uplift us to spiritual realization. Glück in Tugend kann uns zur Ebene der spirituellen Erkenntnis erheben. And if you and if you engage in so that is that. But that is still not Ananda. That is not Ananda. So the question is how to get Ananda. How to get real happiness. Real happiness. Because even if you have this nice sukha of the mode of goodness, it's not real happiness. There's a sense of happiness, but it's not real happiness. It's not Ananda. Ananda you only get from Krishna. Or in relationship with Krishna. You only get it in relationship with Krishna. Because Krishna is the pivot of the spiritual dimension, and Ananda is one quality of the spiritual dimension. And the spiritual dimension depends on Krishna. So here this place is essentially meant for that, developing a relationship with Krishna. And yes, there's one verse in Srimad Bhagavatam which we had to learn recently, so I would like to take opportunity to just recap. It says, Tasyaiva heto prayateta ko vido na labhyate yat pramatamu paryadaha tal labhyate durkavat anyasta sukam kalena savatra gabira ranghasa. And the translation goes something like, if a person is actually intelligent and philosophically inclined, so all of us are sitting here to hear some philosophy, so we take it that everyone here is somewhat philosophically inclined. Such a person, he should not look for anything which you can get in this world. And that verse is even saying beyond this one life. Because we understand that we live not only once, we live unlimited. We live as many times as we like, because we are eternal. And it says that we cannot live on this earth even. There are also higher regions in this world, in this universe. There are also lower regions in this world, in this universe. You can go up, you can go down. The more you go up, the more you have some superficial pleasure, sukha. The more you go down, the more you have pain. And that verse says, if you're philosophically inclined, you should never aspire for any of that. Whatever you get in this world, no matter how up you go, no matter how down you go, it is not worth looking for. Because it explains that this talabhyate duhkavat anyastha sukam, the happiness, you will get it anyway, out of destiny. Your destiny will arrange for your so-called happiness. The man finds a woman finds a man, or you get some ice cream sometimes. Someone brings you an ice cream, or some sweets. Sometimes you just get a heritage of a lot of money. So actually, many such things. Once I did a horoscope, and my horoscope says that the astrologer told me that when you are around, I forgot how old, maybe 50, 60, you will get your own house. It's blessed. You will get your own house. Srila Prabhupada, at the time of his birth, that is traditional Vedic culture, there was one astrologer. The astrologer told that this man, when he is 7 years old, or at that time baby, that boy, when he's 70 years old, he will go to the Western world. And he will travel all over, and he will open 108 temples. The astrologer said 108. And what did Srila Prabhupada do? At age 70, he sat in the boat, he came to the US, to New York, he traveled all over, he opened 108 temples. So, it's destined. It's blessed already. So, that means it will happen on its own. Because of our character, because of our physical constitution and psychic constitution, and because of the world around us and how it will interact with us and we will interact with that, it will all take place. It's guaranteed. You don't have to work for it. You don't have to work for happiness. And for the distress, you also don't have to work. Nobody wants distress, but it will come. You will break your leg, or you will have some digestion problems, or somebody will tell you something nasty. It will happen. It is blessed like that. So we should not work for those things. We should work for Ananda. Not for Ananda. No, ultimately not. It's a side effect. We should work for our relationship with Krishna. We should work for the relationship with Krishna. And that is the art which we are learning here. And the result of actual perception of the spiritual reality and spiritual happiness, that is something we don't aim at that, but it's something. But if we have a conception that we want to achieve something in life, we want our victory, that is victory. To contact Krishna. Bhakti, yoga. Bhakti means devotion to God. And that devotion, that practice of devotion to God should bear one practical result, which is yoga. Yoga means connection with God. So we should connect with God. We should perceive God. We should experience the association of God, of Krishna, by attracting Him through our devotional activities for His pleasure. Sangsiddhir Haritoshanam. Bhagavatam says, the highest goal that you can achieve by all performance of duties, whatever activities you are performing, the last thing to be achieved, the highest thing to achieve. Sangsiddhir Haritoshanam. Haritoshanam is the satisfaction of God. This is the satisfaction of Krishna. That is the art we are learning here. And that is victory. That is the ultimate victory. Because you get the ultimate happiness. Yes. Okay, I will stop. Anyone wants to add something or ask something?
How long does this kind of just setting up the scene, how long does that last?
Until you get the philosophical discussion, or what do you mean? Basically, the first chapter is an introduction, but it's important because the context makes the thing go alive. Philosophy is useless if you don't have a practical context. Yes, and basically the first chapter, it will come to the point that Arjuna is described, who is sitting on a big chariot, drawn with white horses. It says beautiful white horses he has, and Krishna, the personality of Godhead, God Himself, He is driving His chariot. He's taking that humble service. God is the servant of His servants.
Was this battle supposed to be on this planet or a different planet?
This planet.
Did we ever find it? Did we ever find the battle?
It's known where it is. Yeah.
We know where is it?
Kurukshetra. It's a place near Delhi. Delhi, the capital of India. Yes, and it says, I heard someone told me he was there. Yeah, one of our teachers recently, he told us that he was there, and the earth there, it has a brownish, yellowish color. And yeah, and one may assume that because actually that war, there were so many soldiers there. So there's an idea that all the blood of all those people and elephants and horses, it soaked the ground. And it's also considered a sacred place, actually. Yes, that is very interesting. Actually, our movement has a temple there also. and what is also there is that I heard, anyway, but that goes into details. But that place exists. Yes, this is a historical place. We believe that God walked this earth around 5,000 years ago, personally, in person. Yeah, that battle took place around that time, 5,000 years ago. We have a different worldview than many modern advocates of different ideas.
5,000 years ago isn't that long ago.
Yeah, it's in eternity, it's the blink of an eye. Exactly, you see that. So there were so many very sophisticated cultures at that time. So, yeah.
Compared to all the things in the modern world, it's not that unbelievable.
Yes, that's true. So, actually, yeah, so there's a description of Arjuna and Krishna is there. But at that time, the thing is that very few people knew that he is God, actually. They thought he's some rival, he's some friend, maybe he's a great person, but they didn't understand that he's like that. Yeah. So, but Arjuna, sometimes he knows. It says that, but that's a special topic also. But the thing is that Krishna was Arjuna's chariot driver, very humble, because there were different reasons, and he had made a promise that I can be there, but I will not fight. I will do that small thing. I can be a chariot driver. That's what he did. And so Arjuna is telling him, bring my chariot to the middle of the battlefield. I want to see both armies. I want to see our opponents. And Krishna does that. And then Arjuna, I should not give you all the details. I spoil the fun otherwise. No. But the thing is that then Arjuna, he becomes very insecure about the fighting. He sees that my relatives, my friends, even teachers are standing on the other side, and I'm supposed to fight. So, and he's giving 5 very good reasons, substantial reasons. I don't want to fight. Look at this, look at that, look at that. He's telling his friend Krishna. And Krishna, he tells him, you have to fight. And the whole Bhagavad Gita is aiming at that point. You have to do it. And he's explaining why he has to do it. He's explaining why to do it. So it goes to deep philosophy. And the battle is a good occasion for deep philosophy, because it's about life and death of many people. And there are many moral issues to be raised also, no? So, yeah, so it's a very deep book, and the conversation becomes very deep, and the transcendental dimension is addressed, and ultimately is stressed and prioritized there. So, and the first chapter is those reasons Arjuna is giving why I don't want to fight, and then from chapter 2 it starts that Krishna is answering, and Krishna is telling him this, because of this, because of that. The battle comes after this Bhagavad Gita is finished. The Bhagavad Gita, the Bhagavad Gita is a part of a bigger book which is called Mahabharata. Yeah, and after the Bhagavad Gita is spoken, then in the Mahabharata, if you read that book, if you continue the reading, the whole battle is described. The huge battle is described. It took 18 days. Yeah, and a few more. 10 guys, 15 guys. I didn't count it ever, but a few men survived. Okay. Yes. Okay. Thank you for your sitting and hearing and participating in that way. Yes. Let us continue to aim for victory in spiritual life. We'll stop it for now. Officially. We can talk also. But there will be a ceremony here. Okay. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.